Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Whole right.
Righty then. Whole right.
Whole righty.
Whole right. Yes, babe.
Hey.
Sizzling.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Hobo with a Shotgun.
Hobo with a shotgun.
That's how you say
That's
it.
how you say it.
That's how you say it.
Mm-hmm. That's how it's pronounced. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye. Bye. Good episode.
Great episode.
I don't think I've seen you around here before. Bobby, guess. You rode in on the rail.
That's right.
Did anybody officially welcome you to town yet?
They never do.
Well, welcome to Fucktown!
All right. This is brought to you by Steven.
Thank you.
Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steven.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Steven has been, I think, maybe not. I don't know. We have a patron who gives us a lot of like the more artsy stuff. I feel like it was Steven, and then this, and then Hobo with a Shotgun.
And then Hobo with a Shotgun, which is the premier art house film.
Yeah. Had you seen this movie before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is my first watch.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Do you remember that? You remember when?
I know. I know where it came from.
Okay, so I had the mock trailer that these filmmakers made. There was a. If people don't know, the Robert Rodriguez Quentin Tarantino team up movie Grindhouse featured, a couple of trailers for fake films by directors like Edgar Wright and Eli Roth.
Yeah. Edgar Wright doing the best one.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't is
pretty great. I did like Thanksgiving. I liked Eli Roth too.
Oh yeah. They were all fun.
So they did a contest for indie filmmakers to make their own Grindhouse trailer, and Hobo with a Shotgun was the one that won. And this is the full movie version of the trailer. So I watched the Grindhouse trailer so many times that I had it memorized. So I loved that trailer.
Funny.
So when this movie came out, I was really excited to watch it.
Well, okay, so that's good to hear. What did you think of this movie?
I kind of love this movie, but I also recognize that it's a little dated in terms of it's a little too it feels weird to say it's a little too vile, but that's kind of where I land on a few parts. It's a little too much, but
yeah, so we just did a review of John Dies at the End, which was 2012, and I think I mentioned in that it was a little ahead of its time. This definitely does have bits that are ahead of its time as well. Yeah,
and I think this nailed being the Grindhouse movie more so than like Machete did. I think this is closer to being, this is more successful as a Grindhouse film than I think of either of the movies that were in Grindhouse.
Well, that's ultimately my issue with this movie, because I'm glad you like this movie. I see the value in it, but it ultimately didn't do much for me.
That's fair.
And I think it's all. I haven't seen Machete either, but it's all circling the same thing, which is I really like Death Proof, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I like Planet Terror as well.
So do I.
It's the issue that I keep running into with these movies ultimately is that they aren't actually the thing they're trying to imitate. Like Hobo with a Shotgun, this isn't a spoof of anything. Like you could say, oh, it's a little like Death Wish.
I think it's an homage to that's what I meant when I said it's more successful at being a grindhouse film, because this doesn't feel like a spoof to me, and it doesn't feel like it's winking at the camera. It's like genuinely doing the shit that got grindhouse movies the reputation that they got.
But it still is. It
still
knows
is
what it's doing.
For sure. Like the scene, the conversation about the bear, holy shit. Like that's and then he puts a picture of a bear in her picture frame.
Right. That's pretty great.
Incredible, Dave.
You mentioned like that it's almost too vile, which I actually heavily agree with, which is not to say I have nothing against violence, obviously. But the again, I feel like the era it's trying to imitate wasn't this. Like this feels like trauma
yes,
film.
This feels like trauma.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which is that's okay, but it just feels like it's again the same way I like those grindhouse movies. They didn't strike me as imitating anything specific. Like Planet Terror. That's just like a modern zombie film that's I loved.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, you know those classic high budget good special effects.
Yeah, those classic hyper violent B movie alien zombie films. Like no.
Right. Most of them, yeah, that's the thing. Most of them weren't actually that violent, for one. And I think it's because they couldn't afford to be that violent.
Yeah. That's probably
and
true.
And most of them weren't as well done. And so it's so hard to imitate something like this. And there's so many, this is now like a regular thing, and it's like some of them I really enjoy, some of them I think are just okay, some of them I don't like. There are varying degrees, but I feel like we're definitely oversaturated with them.
You do?
like Turbo Kid and Psycho Gorman and like all the ones I haven't seen.
I think they're all kind of. I think the director of this movie had something to do with Turbo Kid.
Yeah, he's the producer, and I really like Turbo Kid. That's what I'm saying. Is it's not. I think there's a lot of them, and I appreciate what they're all trying to do, but I think they're all of varying success for me.
Mm-hmm.
And this one I wouldn't say is bad in any way, but it ultimately like I wasn't. And again, maybe it's because, like you said, it's dated. I ultimately wasn't like impressed or blown away by anything. I do really like The Plague.
Yeah.
But that doesn't feel like that's in the same movie as like what they're trying. If they're trying to do Death Wish, it's like, well, that wouldn't be.
It's not exactly Death Wish. I think this is closer to Mandy in a lot of ways because it's really it's very surreal.
But Mandy isn't actually imitating anything.
No.
Right? That's why Mandy works for me personally, is Mandy isn't trying to be a grindhouse film. It's just being Mandy. And so like it's whenever they're calling their shot like this, that it like because it was made as a joke, right? Like the trailer was a joke.
Yeah.
And for something that is an expansion of that, I think it is ultimately very good.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that and
it also had the sense to not try to incorporate everything from the trailer and to not do it exactly like it
was Rutger Hauer in the other one.
No, it was a guy named David Brent or Brunt, and he's actually in the movie as one of the cops during the scene where one cop says, well, at least he's only shooting the dirty cops, and then this really grizzled old guy is like, we're all dirty cops. Like he was the hobo in the original trailer. David Brunt, I think is his name. David Brent's the boss. This is Ricky Gervais in The Office.
I was gonna say that sounds familiar.
But yeah, I think when you watch the Grindhouse trailer they made, it's there's a lot of the same beats are in it, but not everything made it in, and there's different versions of stuff that's in the trailer. So they clearly didn't feel completely beholden to the trailer. They were just like, okay, let's use some of those ideas and actually make this into a fleshed out movie, which it does, and it's mostly fun. I think the vileness that I'm actually uncomfortable with is they go real hard against the main lady character, Abby. So it's just like
there's a lot of sexual violence.
Yeah, it's
but again, like if you're it's tough. because I was watching it with Hannah, who, first of all, shout out to Hannah, who before she even sat down to watch it was like, this is a Canadian film.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what? And she's like, I know this is a Canadian film. And it was. And the way she phrased it was like, a shotgun in an American film isn't a big deal. This has to be a Canadian film.
Yeah.
No, she pointed out that also the only, I believe the only black character is a pimp. And it's one of those things where it's like, that is both imitating like a racist trope, but it's also just doing the thing. And that's the same with the sexual violence, where it's like, well, if you go watch Death Wish, there's tons of sexual violence in that. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason we don't do that anymore. And there's a reason those movies aren't good.
And to be clear, and in the movie's defense, there's not any actual depiction of assault in it. It's just people saying really horrible shit to this character.
It's always people about to assault.
Yeah,
her.
it's the threat of it. Yeah.
And so, like, again, I think they're imitating a specific style, but then they're not in other places because it's a mix of like a little Death Wish, a little Trauma, a little RoboCop, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
But it's all kind of a mix. So when it's all a mix like that, it's like, well, you don't have to include that stuff. Ultimately,
yeah. So that makes it feel. Which it's funny to say that a Grindhouse homage feels dated, but that's what makes it feel a little dated for me. I think if you made this movie today, you'd probably cut some of that.
I think
just to keep it fun. You know, like right. I do understand that the part of the tone of a movie like this is supposed to feel grimy. Right. And it does. This movie feels grimy. And usually it's in a fun way. Not completely, but mostly.
It's a really hard thing to do. Mm-hmm. Because I've been thinking about why did this movie not particularly like do anything for me? Whereas like Mandy did something for me, or like Wolf Cop. Like Wolf Cop I enjoy.
Yeah.
Wolf Cop, I don't think, is trying to necessarily imitate a specific style, but it knows what it is, right?
It's going through the recognizable beats and tropes of movies of that genre. I mean, we did episodes on Wolf Cop, so you guys know how we feel about Wolf Cop, but yeah,
we enjoy Wolf Cop,
mm-hmm.
but Wolf Cop is definitely winking at the camera and doing the things, and so like there's this like weird. It's an inconsistency where it's sort of like slapstick, where it's like it's funny when it's funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't even describe it perfectly, but like for example, you describing the guy saying we're all dirty cops, right?
Yeah.
That is a funny performance, but they know it is, and they instructed him to say it that way. Whereas if you watched a movie like Miami Connection and someone does a line read that's really bizarre,
mm-hmm.
That's not like scripted. So it's like it's scripting a movie to be campy, and for me, it's like, well, I'll just watch a campy movie that wasn't trying to be, right. Like that's the more pleasing version.
To a degree, to get some of that stuff for sure. I think the movie can be more interesting in its own merit when it's more self-aware. But yeah, like normally. For the most part, I agree with you that if the movie's too much in on the joke, it makes it not fun. But I think what makes this movie mostly work for me is that most of it does generally take itself seriously. Generally.
Yeah. And what works for me, or what makes me recognize this as like a good version of this, is that I would also say all the humor or rather the weirdness doesn't feel derivative. Like
no, it's really surreal. Yeah, it's just really strange.
Like I don't want to dump on anything else, but like for example, Kung Fury, which I like a lot of the look of that short. Mm-hmm. But like that had that humor where it's like riding a T-Rex,
and fighting
where it's like
Uber Hitler or whatever. Yeah, it feels real memey. Yeah,
where it's going for the very low hanging. Isn't this so random? Like that stuff.
Yeah. This movie is not that. Lot,
exactly. And so this movie didn't like piss me off in that sense. And again, it like the the Plague felt like characters from Mandy before Mandy had been made.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's actually, I think my favorite part of this movie is the second half.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me,
when
shit gets out of control.
Yeah, it really goes off the rails, and there's a lot of unpredictable shit happens. It's strange. A lot of the laughs come from just how bizarre the exchanges are, and it's not like bizarre like somebody doing a like Kevin Pollak doing a goofy voice in the other and the whole 9 yards. It's bizarre.
What an example!
Yeah.
What an example you just gave.
Right, because I want to say something that's like obviously trying to be weird.
Yeah,
And then there's,
I know, it's just...
Yeah, I know. And then what this movie does, which is it gets laughs out of Rutger Hauer going on a rant, like a rambling, in any other context, alarming rant about bears.
Right.
The movie, it's bizarre and surreal in a way that really appeals to me. Yeah.
Did you just watch Whole 9 Yards?
No, I just thought of something that was loudly weird, and that was the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah,
I have to watch that movie again. Oh man, I bet that movie sucks. I want to watch it again. Though.
Oh, it does. It absolutely sucks.
Yeah, it's from the Analyze This stage.
Yeah,
where they were doing that. I want to watch Analyze This.
We should do that on a Friday, Dave. We'll watch Analyze This and Analyze That on a Friday.
Yeah,
and then we'll watch the whole 9 yards and the whole 10 yards.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna lose so many patrons.
I don't know. We just watched The Magic of David Copperfield and Titanic.
Yeah, we probably lost a few there.
Yeah. Okay, so plot of this movie. Rutger Hauer is a hobo.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a shotgun.
He's literally riding the rails. Yeah.
Yeah. He comes to this town that's just like this clearly lawless town, and it's run by this family. And the two brothers,
the Drake,
they are very trauma. Their characters are straight out of like a trauma film.
They're the two bosses in River City Ransom. Slick and Ivan. They're from a video game.
You're right, and I think they knew that because they do a video game reference in this.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I kind of wish they had leaned on that more. I don't know. Maybe they did.
I don't know. Rutger Hauer gets to town and he's like wandering through the streets and seeing all this crime, and then he witnesses the Drake.
There's a bum fights.
Yeah, the bum fights. Yeah, the bum fights guy. God, do you remember that? Remember fucking bum fights, Dave?
I barely remember it, but yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's funny. I think things. we always think that like society's getting worse. And in some ways it might be, but in other ways we don't have bum fights. We don't have,
so yeah, that was really fucking gross.
Yeah, and so it's like I get it where people look at reality TV back in the day and they're like, what an innocent time. I've done that, but also like I don't know. I think bum fights. I'm glad we don't have that. I would argue Jerry Springer was probably as fabricated as it was. It felt worse than a lot of things today too.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know, man. This is a different conversation. But the first, he's witnessing all this crime,
the bum fights, and then he witnesses the Drake and his two sons, Slick and Ivan, kill one of the Trailer Park Boys.
Yes, Ricky's here. That was the other. Well, it was very funny because Hana was like, it's Canadian, and then the first title comes up that's like the Canadian whatever board, and it was like, there we go. Mm-hmm. And then Ricky shows up, and it's like, this is extremely Canadian.
Yeah, I think this director
is so Canadian that a Trailer Park Boy is in it.
I think this director has directed some of it, and like I think
that makes sense.
A couple of the actors have been on Trailer Park Boys as well. Also, this director is one of the co-creators of Dark Side of the Ring, which I did not realize until today.
Very odd. Very, very odd.
Anyway, yeah, so they see him kill Ricky from Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, which it hurt my heart to see Ricky die, but
yeah, it's pretty great. It was pretty great. Yeah. I think Ivan is my favorite character. I'm not sure.
Which one's Ivan?
Ivan is the crazy brother.
Oh, okay.
The guy who does karate with ice skates on.
Right, yes, which is a great idea.
Yeah, pretty sweet. The other brother, Slick, is the kid from Small Soldiers.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah, and he sets a school bus full of children on fire and gets taken to hell in the same school bus.
Right, he sure does.
What a film, Dave.
It was a really weird choice.
Yeah, but again, I love it. Like, I love how strange that is.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's very trauma.
Yeah.
Those feel like trauma sensibilities, like burning a school bus full of kids. Like, where else do you see that? You know?
Yeah, it's really just trauma. Like that. The Toxic Avenger fucked me up so bad because I saw it. I saw it way too young. And like this, it's the same kind of grime in this movie, and it's like I said, it's mostly the fun kind of grime.
Right. It's not. By the way, it's not The Greasy Strangler, which I would argue is a harder to watch film.
The Greasy Strangler is a movie I will never ever watch again.
I might watch it again. There's some moments in The Greasy Strangler that I legitimately like. I again, the car wash sequence I find very funny. There's some moments that I find very funny in that, but yes, it's mostly like Tim and Eric, where you're like, this is just gross.
Yeah. And it's just it's like punishing you for watching it.
Yeah, I would argue for the most part, the school bus of kids, like I could see that upsetting somebody because it's a school bus full of kids. But like most of the gore in this, I feel like my mother could watch because it's so over the top.
So over the top. It's Kill Bill.
It's Monty Python. Yeah. Kill Bill.
Yeah. It's cartoonish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like I believe Ricky, when his head gets pulled off, it's just a fountain of blood that a woman
starts dancing in.
Yeah.
The Abby, the main the female lead, gets her hand mulched by a lawnmower and then stabs the Drake several times with her hand bone.
Yes, she does.
Incredible.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. So like but yeah, the hobo with a shotgun meets a sex worker. And like it's like a kind of a father-daughter situation.
Yeah.
He seems very protective of her.
Yeah.
And like he's, you know, he decides she's a school teacher or something like that.
Yeah, there's this through line where they keep having like a different they have a different of mice and men conversation every time they talk about what they're going to do when they finally get out of town.
Yeah, you're right.
So they're having fun with the trope of like, just two more days till retirement, and then we're going to move out to this cabin. Like when you know a character is doomed because they're talking about what they're going to do when they get out of this life. So they do several, at least 2 or 3 different versions of that conversation where it's like, though they're going to ride out of town and start their own lawn mowing business. They're going to buy a zoo, or they're going to go to the zoo and see the bears. Like, it's so random. But one of them is like, yeah, either she is being ironic. I can't quite remember how it happens. Either she's being ironic and says she's a school teacher, or he just decides that she is. But yeah, I sort of lost my train of thought there.
I don't know. He just keeps calling. By the way, this director also did a VHS 2 segment.
Oh, which one?
The Alien one.
Oh, okay.
Which the Alien one, I think people don't like because a dog gets horribly injured and if not killed in it.
It's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is.
It's dead. It falls. It falls from a great height.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll kill a dog. I would argue that actually is that segment low key slaps. It's a little like the characters are very annoying in it, and it's about teenage boys. But the concept of it, I really like.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so they develop this relationship, and basically I forget for whatever reason the bad guys of the town, basically their sights get set on this hobo with a shotgun. Because he basically gets sick of everything, and he goes and gets a shotgun.
Yeah,
and he starts blowing people away.
Yeah, he beats up Slick. Like Slick is preparing to abduct Abby, basically, and he intervenes and beats the shit out of him with his sock full of change. And then he finally saves up enough to buy a lawnmower to start his lawn mowing business, but thugs break into the pawn shop and hold a mother and her baby hostage, and it's this thug holding this infant at gunpoint, and it's I don't know, extremely funny to me the way it's shot. It's so extreme.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
on purpose.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the most over the top heinous thing. So yeah, he finally has had enough and just buys the shotgun instead and starts blowing people away. So they put out a bounty on this hobo. He kills Slick, but in the process, Slick like hacksaws through Abby's collarbone, so he has to take her to the hospital, and that's when the Plague shows up, who are these two silent biker assassins that
they're Mandy characters. They're
characters,
dressed in armor,
And then they're really like scary and surreal, and they come out of like this cool looking factory with purple lightning. And he fights them. And then there's a final showdown between everybody in the street where one of the Plague gets killed, the Drake gets killed, and then the hobo gets shot by the police, but also they've inspired the people to take back their city, so the people also open fire on the crooked cops, and it's just a big shootout at the end. Yeah,
and the hobo with the shotgun dies, and then credits.
Yep.
Immediate.
Very abrupt.
Which I appreciated that.
Yeah.
That felt like it was taking a cue a little bit from Death Proof, but it works.
Yeah.
Because that is definitely a thing of its time where movies used to just end.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, whoa, oh, okay.
Oh, I guess that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's not like, if this is what you're into, again, like I think about this whole genre to me, whether or not I even like the movie or not, I tend not to do much rewatching because they're very grimy, as we noted. They're very much like, have you watched this movie that many times?
No, I've only maybe watched it twice.
Right, because why would you? I don't know how else to describe this. It's like, it's not a world you want to actually exist in. Like, I wouldn't put this on to like unwind. And so in terms of like rewatching, it's like, when would I ever rewatch this movie? It's very unsubtle, you know what I mean? And it's full of gore, and some of the stuff looks nice, but it's generally an unpleasant world. Yeah. And all the characters are generally unpleasant. And again, this isn't really a hit against it. It's the style. Because I would say there are movies that I like this as well, where I'm like, I enjoyed that. I'm not going to like watch it that much. Greasy Strangler comes to mind, which is a movie that I highly respect. But as we've said, like, I wouldn't watch it that much.
That is a grotesque film.
Yeah. Yeah, it's designed for that. It's designed
as an anti-film.
Yeah. And this is definitely designed for people to watch like at a party.
Yeah, this is sort of for you to show your friends and be like, you'll never believe how crazy this movie is.
Right. But again, the issue that I keep running into is the artificiality of that, which is that they've designed the movie specifically for that reason, right? And again, so does Trauma. So does a lot of movies.
I think where this movie succeeds for me, where so many others don't, is that it doesn't hold back. Like it recognizes that if it wants to be perceived as a trauma film, it's got to do the things that a trauma film does. It can't like do half measures. So the gore is really extreme and really over the top. It's really bizarre. It's really grimy. It goes all in on those things, and that's, I think, why I enjoy this movie, where I don't usually I don't enjoy a lot of other movies within this same genre, because
that try to do the same thing.
Like they'll either pull back too much and won't do the over the topness, so it's just sort of like an unpleasant movie that's not even interesting to watch. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's an issue with a lot of the movies they're imitating. Yeah. Is like you go and look at those movies, and because they don't have that much gore, and they don't actually they're not actually aware of the fact that they're silly, they don't actually come out very interesting, ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, why would I watch a movie that's just grimy if heads weren't exploding every other scene? You know what I mean? It's like
right.
This movie. Yeah, I think this movie is successful in being what it was meant to be an homage of. That's where I land on this movie. So it's still it's a genre of movie that's not like one you watch super often. Like I spit on your grave, but I'm not throwing that shit on. You know what I mean?
Right. It's such a weird genre because it's like the bragging rights genre where like it's movies that you watch and then you never really watch that much again. It's just movies to say I've watched it. Does that make sense? It's very odd. This
sort
genre.
Of? Well,
again, for good or for bad.
Yeah.
Like a movie like Audition. Like that's not a movie you rewatch. That's just a movie you watch once, so you can say like, "Oh yeah, I've seen it."
Yeah, I mean, Ichi the Killer. Now that we're on,
this isn't
Miike.
that though.
No,
again, this isn't that because this isn't hard to watch for that reason.
No,
in fact, I would argue this isn't that hard to watch at all.
Not really. No,
it's more of just that it's an unpleasant universe that I don't feel the need to pop on and watch ever again.
That's fair.
And yeah. I do appreciate that it has Rutger Hauer in it. You know, he really elevates it. You'd never think that Blind Fury's Rutger Hauer would be in a movie like this.
He is perfect for this. Yeah. And it's sort of, and Rutger Hauer, I think, I mean, I can't tell if you were being facetious a second ago, but he is he is sort of mired in like exploitation cinema, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's like, again, I remember when we were watching Howling 2 and like having that realization with Christopher Lee of like, so weird he's in this. And then you look at his career and you're like, wait, no, it's not at all weird that he's in this.
No, this is the shit he likes to make. Like,
yeah, this is just his, like Rutger Hauer is that where they're these like, they're daywalkers, right?
Yeah.
Like they exist in this weird nether world where they can be in Blade Runner, but also in this.
Yeah, but also in Split Second.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
fucking Split
Blind Fury in this movie. We've covered a lot of Rutger Hauer on this show, and I'm just now realizing.
Yeah, well, that motherfucker's been in some weird shit.
Yeah, honestly, that's
Daywalker.
I feel like that would be more. I don't know if it would be more. Well, no, I would say it would be more fulfilling for me personally to be in a whole bunch of weird shit. Like if I was an actor, I'm gonna do the weirdest movies possible.
For sure. Oh yeah. But I don't like. It's so hard to tell because again, like you look at Split Second. That's the one. That's the flooded London. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With the rat monster.
Yeah, that's a movie that you're like you watch and you're like I genuinely can't figure out how much they're aware of, and part of that is the fact that it was made in the 90s, right?
I think so. Yeah.
There's this element of like you can never tell if they know they're being funny or not. There's so many layers to it, you know? And then you can't tell what they think is genuinely cool or badass or what they think is impressive or what they know is like campy. And so like Hobo with a Shotgun, you know it's all intentional. And I always wonder like, okay, in 20 years from now, are people going to know that about this? I assume they will. And like Trauma knows what it is, right? So as an imitation of like Trauma, this is completely acceptable because it's no different than that.
Yeah.
And so that's part of why I guess I'm not mad at it. But again, it's this weird line to walk. Where like I'd much prefer something like Miami Connection where you watch and you're like they thought they were making like a good movie. And in a lot of ways they were.
They were correct.
Yeah, and in a lot of other ways, I don't think they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Most of the fundamental things. and in the fundamental ways, they had no idea what they were doing.
But then they put the ninja song out and you're like, wow, this is a legitimately great song.
Yes.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's hard because those are fewer and farther in between. Like a Neil Breen movie, I like the concept of, but obviously when you actually watch them,
it's a real bummer.
It's a real slog in a lot of places. But then the highs are really high.
Yeah.
And so there's something ultimately, and again, this is the movies in this genre that I like, that I don't like, and this includes Trauma, because I think Trauma is completely self-aware. Although Lloyd Kaufman is very good at making you not fully know if he is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's, and so like, ultimately, I much prefer the ones where the people involved are like, no, I made this completely genuinely, non-ironically.
Yeah.
But for what this is, it's fun. I mean, you gotta respect it. It's Rutger Hauer with a shotgun.
It makes good. It lives up to its title.
Yeah. Well, all right. It doesn't because it took a while for that shotgun.
It does take a minute. Yeah, it takes a little too long. Even though it's only an 80-minute film, it takes him about 25 minutes to get his shotgun.
Yeah, and that's too long. I would argue.
Little too long. Little too long. Yeah.
But yeah, the big thing for me, I think, again, the second half basically becomes Mandy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
To the point that I feel like when this guy saw Mandy, he was just like, hey.
Yeah. It's like, hey, that was my movie.
Yeah. Which is that they just call on these like hell creatures. They do the thing where like she kills one of them and the other one is like, she must take his place. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then he just walks away.
Yeah, and then the Hobo says, "No way, she's not going anywhere with you." And then he just walks away. So it's I like that there's like a whole other universe that the plague exists in that's separate from this movie.
Rules.
Yeah,
like they're benevolent, like they're not.
They're not necessarily benevolent, but like when we see their dungeon, they have like a squid beast Cthulhu monster in there.
Yeah,
and it seems like they've assassinated Jesus, and like there's like all these.
They have assassinated.
They have like
Jesus,
a wall of all the people they've killed, and one of them is definitely Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just mean in the sense that like she kills one of them. The other one's like doesn't want revenge. He's indifferent about it.
Yeah,
like they don't care, and that's I like this premise of a bad guy where it's like they're just a force. They're not like they're evil for sure, but somehow they also feel like like you could get them to be on your side for whatever reason. You could end up fighting alongside them. Yeah, they were my favorite part of this movie for sure.
Yeah, they were pretty sweet.
Yeah. The guy who played Drake, by the way, he's doing, everybody knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
what they need to be doing.
There are fun performances in this movie.
Oh, he was also in Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, you're right. A lot of these fucking actors were in Trailer Park Boys. I'm looking at him. He was also in Beethoven's Treasure. The guy who played Drake.
Yeah, sure. That seems like a movie he would be in.
Yeah, why not?
I don't disagree with that. I don't have any trouble believing that.
Oh, sorry. Beethoven's Treasure Tale. Like it's a tale, but you guess how they spell it.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was made in 2014. We should watch this.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
I don't have too much more to say about this
dog,
movie.
Right?
Yeah. You would think.
That dog's dead.
Well,
Beethoven,
maybe.
The original Beethoven?
Maybe.
Should I look into it? Should I see how that dog's doing?
They could have given him implants, injected him with some sort of mutagen.
Right. He could be more robot than dog.
He could be like Frankenstein Beethoven. Frankenstoven.
Did you know that all right, any guesses of what the dog who played Beethoven's name was?
Beethoven?
Nope. You'll never guess.
Okay, so just tell me what it is then.
Chris.
You're right. You're right. I would never ever guess that name for a dog.
Yeah. The dog who played Beethoven, folks, is named Chris.
Sure.
He's been in 2 movies. Can you guess what the other movie was?
Beethoven Second.
You're right.
Yep.
You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about Hobo with a shotgun.
Yeah, now we're talking about Beethoven's.
Yeah, but people like hearing us talk, right?
I think maybe.
I mean, if they why it would be really weird if they didn't and they were listening to us.
Maybe they're just angry.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to sleep. Hey, wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Actually, no, they can probably we don't really have anything else to say about Hobo with a shotgun.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah, I'm not even.
I think they can stop. They can go to sleep, right? Like we can be done. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Hey, folks.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Who did this to us? Steven. Thank you, Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steven. Oh my God. I don't want to reveal it, but our next We Just Watched is going to be very interesting.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, Steven, thank you very much. This was through our Patreon. So we have a tier where you can get custom We Just Watched episodes. And that's how this is made. We also, just for $5 a month, you can go on there. It's patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You get access to a bunch of podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder's a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We watch movies every Friday night with our patrons.
We sure do.
We sure do.
Yeah, so, check that out. We've also got a store. Head over to gameforunemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store, where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, stickers, posters, mugs, all sorts of things. So check that out.
Yeah. And
I guess
have love in your heart.
Yeah, trade in your nickels and dimes for a new way of life.
Yeah. Praise Jesus?
Maybe? I don't know.
I
know that the plague got the best of him, so I think praise the plague.
Yeah, all hail
Probably
the plague.
all hail the plague, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, they live in a cool castle with purple lightning. It's like Masters of the Universe over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.